Mack Rides has to be one of the most influential roller coaster manufacturers in the industry right now, working with Universal creating brand new rides for the Epic Universe opening in 2025, and they've also opened the two best rides in the whole world in 2024 with Hyperia and Voltron Nevera. So that's why I've decided to rank all their roller coaster models, and I've decided to mix some of the coaster models together on the official webpage, but we still have 11 total coaster models to go through. So sit back, relax, and let's go straight into this list. Coming in as the least favorite coaster model from Mack Rides is the powered coaster at the 11th spot. And yes, I still get that the target group is families and children, but these are just slow and boring in my opinion. And yes, I don't really like the whole idea of a powered coaster that controls the speed of the train throughout the whole layout. I would rather let gravity control the train. The only redeeming factor of a powered coaster is the suspended powered coaster at Europa Park called Arthur. That ride is half dark ride, half roller coaster, and that really works in my opinion. Moving on to spot number 10, we have the Wild Mouse coaster. These coasters can be fun, but they can still be a pain in the bum. Most of these rides have sharp turns that give strong lateral G-forces, and they also have great drops. But then you might ask, why are they placed so low then? Well, let me tell you, all of these coasters are probably the same with the sharp turns, and they get very repetitive in my opinion. Not to mention, most of these rides are very janky and they can be a bit rough. I just keep getting dizzy and uncomfortable after only one ride. Moving on to spot number 9, we have the Young Star model, also known as the traditional family coaster. But I've only ridden one of these roller coasters, and that is of course Pegasus at Europa Park. But my experience on this ride was quite surprising. The roller coaster really offered a great and smooth experience combined with positive G-forces and also a bit of airtime. And in the back you can get an even crazier experience with the airtime on the first drop if they have a longer train on the rides. Compared to the old Vekoma family roller coaster model, this one is way better with smoothness, positive G-forces and a bit of airtime. Yeah. Moving on to spot number 8, this is where I already call these coasters above average. We have the water coaster, and this is where I combine the Super and Power Splash models of Mack Rides. The Mack Rides water coaster model can really offer great experiences, and they are very different from each other. And they've also been some of the first to experiment with launching water coasters, and you can also see a new water coaster with a launch system is opening the next year. This roller coaster model of course combines roller coaster track with splashdown sections and water rides. Most of these water coasters had a pretty mid roller coaster section, but then they hit an airtime hill right before the splashdown, and that takes the ride from 0 to 100 real quick. And I also really love that the splashdowns mostly hit your torso. The water doesn't go in the boat and destroy your feet of course, but they can be half janky, so keep that in mind. And moving on, we got the spinning roller coaster at spot number 7. And here I'm talking about the family coaster model, not the thrill ride model. We're gonna speak about that a bit later, man. But these family spinning models are quite intense. The layout on these models mostly consists of overbanks and sharp turns, but most of these rides offer intense speed and whip, so that's okay with me. They are smooth, they are fast, they are whippy, they are not uncomfortable, so that's a great family coaster in my opinion. Moving on to the next spot, this is where it gets interesting. We got the Big Dipper coaster model, but there's only a few of these out there in Europe, but they are still great. I've been lucky enough to try Lost Gravity at Walibi Holland. These roller coaster models do offer great thrills on a small footprint. The ride layouts on these Big Dipper coasters are very whippy and intense, and that is because of the train. It is very small, it fits 2 rows of 4 riders only. Lost Gravity really offered a great amount of ejector and floater airtime, and combining hang time fill inversions and whippy transitions, you really have a good flexible roller coaster layout. Moving on, we have the Mega Coaster model at spot number 5, and I have to be honest, I haven't really heard much about them, nor have I ridden any of these roller coasters, but I have heard they can be compared to the Mega Light roller coaster model by Intamin, and these roller coasters are excellent. I have one at my home park. Some say the Mack Rides version is a bit worse and some say it's a bit better, so I don't really know, but you can still clearly see that this is an airtime heavy layout, and I love airtime, you know. And if these airtime hills really do hit just as much as an Intamin Mega Light, I could have placed this roller coaster model higher than this, but I think I've left it at a safe place at spot number 5. Wait till the next one. Moving on, we got the Launch Coaster at spot number 4, and the Mack Rides Launch Coaster model is very versatile. For example, you have Slinky Dog Dash at Disney's Hollywood Studios, which is a family coaster of course. This roller coaster pulls some mild forces, but it still is a great family coaster. On the other hand, you have great rides such as Blue Fire and the amazing Helix. Blue Fire combines a great and whippy launch with amazing inversions and mild airtime. In my opinion, Blue Fire is just a slightly above average ride. But then on the other hand, you have Helix, which is a world-class ride. It may not have the best launches, but it really has a scenic location combined with crazy airtime, hang time fill inversions and whippy inversions. This is just a world-class layout of course. And in 2025, the new dual launch coaster from Mack Rides will open at Epic Universe, and this looks even crazier, maybe one of the best Mack Rides in the world. Moving on to spot number 3, we have the Hypercoaster, but there haven't been built many Mack Rides Hypercoasters because B&M owns this section. The ones that have been built have the same ride layout, but this Hypercoaster model still gets great reviews. The ride combines the typical airtime filled ride layout with crazy inversions. Not to mention, Mack Rides has built the tallest vertical loop in the world right after a very good and quality twisted first drop. And of course we need to address Hyperia, one of the best roller coasters in the world. Hyperia's layout may be short, but it has some of the best elements in the whole world. Hyperia is really an example of what Mack Rides can really do with a Hypercoaster, so I'm looking forward to another one in the future. And now coming in a second, we have the Extreme Spinning Coaster, and there's not much to say about this. This is a genius idea by Mack Rides, combining a thrill ride layout with spinning seats on the coaster train. That is amazing. It is also very important to mention that the spinning is controlled. That means the carts are programmed to give you the best enjoyment and experience on the roller coaster. And I've been lucky enough to ride Ride to Happiness, which is perhaps one of the best roller coasters in the world. And this ride is just a relentless experience. You never know which way you'll face when you ride this. It offers everything from hang time to punchy launches, ejector airtime and crazy whip. And the only thing that's more genius than the Extreme Spinner is the new Striker Coaster model coming in at spot number 1. And I can shortly describe the Striker Coaster model as a bigger version of the Big Dipper. And the only Mack Rides Striker Coaster we have in the world is Voltron Nevera. And I can really tell you, this roller coaster layout experience is so crazy. It really has everything. It's just like an all-inclusive resort. Punchy launches, yes. Backwards launches, yes. Crazy airtime, yes. Whippy inversions, yes. What does this coaster not have? I don't know. If you want to hear more about Voltron, I have an in-depth review on my channel. But I have an interesting question about the Striker Coaster model. Will the next Striker Coaster be just as ambitious as Voltron and a crazy layout, or is it just this roller coaster? Because then I could maybe move the Extreme Spinner at the number 1 spot. And now we finally reached the end of this video. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know what you think of this video in the description. And if you really like this video, please consider subscribing, giving a like or something. I don't know, that's your choice. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna say, boy.